Gaza reconstruction plan faces several challenges. Thai-Cambodian foreign ministers hold talks over border tensions. Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today. I'm Otto Othman. The success of Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa's three-phase recovery and reconstruction plan for war-torn Gaza will depend on international support, security arrangements, and overcoming daunting logistical challenges. The World Bank, UN, and European Union had estimated in February that it would cost more than $50 billion to rebuild Gaza and are finalizing a new interim estimate of $70 billion. A sweeping 5-year initiative, the plan is estimated to cost $67 billion. A U.S.-brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has halted 2 years of devastating war, but UN officials say aid convoys are struggling to reach famine-hit areas of North Gaza due to war-damaged roads and the closure of key routes. The rebuilding program encompasses 56 sub-programs in 18 sectors, including housing, social services, and infrastructure, and will be implemented in close coordination with Palestinian ministries, institutions, and international partners. Mustafa emphasized that all these efforts must be led and coordinated by the Palestinian Authority with the supervision of international partners. U.S. President Donald Trump told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to make a deal with Russia, pouring cold water on Kyiv's hopes of Tomahawk missiles as the U.S. leader renews a push to settle the war. Trump said that he would believe Ukraine could take back all its territory, but a day after agreeing to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin for a new summit, the American had changed his tune. Now, after meeting with Zelensky at the White House, Trump said on social media that their talks were very interesting and cordial. Trump said that it is time to stop the killing and make a deal. Zelensky, meanwhile, said after the meeting that Russia was afraid of the U.S.-made long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles and that he was realistic about receiving the weapons from Washington. Zelensky came to Washington after weeks of calls for Tomahawks, hoping to capitalize on Trump's growing frustration with Putin after a summit in Alaska failed to produce a breakthrough. But the Ukrainian left empty-handed as Trump eyes a fresh diplomatic breakthrough on the back of last week's Gaza peace deal. Thai Foreign Minister Sihasak Phuket Kheong met his Cambodian counterpart in Malaysia to discuss the ongoing border tensions between the two countries. The Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs said Sihasak undertook a working visit to Malaysia at the invitation of Malaysian Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Mohamad Hassan in his capacity as ASEAN chair. Now, a meeting involving 4 parties was held between Malaysia, the United States, Thailand and Cambodia following 2 previous consultations. Thailand stressed the importance of making concrete progress on issues such as the withdrawal of heavy weaponry, joint demining efforts, combating transnational crime, and cooperation in the management of border areas. The meeting was chaired by Datuk Seri Mohamad and attended by Foreign Ministry Secretary General Datuk Seri Amran Muhammad Zain. This was the second 4-party consultations meeting after the first one, which was chaired by Malaysian Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail on 12 October. Thailand and Cambodia are working towards lasting peace along their 817-kilometer border, which has long been a source of disputes. Tensions most recently escalated into a military confrontation in the Order Menchini and Preah Vihar border areas on 24 July. Both governments subsequently agreed to defuse the situation, which has been closely monitored by Malaysia as ASEAN chair, as well as the United States and China.
Guna mentol jimat tenaga untuk lebih jimat.
Coming up next, 64 South Koreans held in Cambodia return home under arrest. U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday signed orders expanding credits for U.S. auto and engine production and setting new 25% tariffs on imported medium and heavy-duty trucks and parts starting 1st November. The tariffs, which the orders say are being made on national security grounds, are aimed at shifting more auto production to the United States, but could be a significant blow to Mexico, which is the largest exporter of medium and heavy-duty trucks to the United States. Trump is also setting a 10% tariff on imported buses. Trump's order makes automakers eligible for a credit equal to 3.75% of the suggested retail price for U.S. assembled vehicles through 2030 to offset import tariffs on parts. He is also extending the 3.75% credit for U.S. engine production and for U.S. medium and heavy-duty truck production. The new tariffs cover all classes 3 through class 8 trucks, including large pickup trucks, moving trucks, cargo trucks, dump trucks, and tractors for 18-wheelers. Now, to encourage and support people from Sweden to travel to and experience the real China, China stands ready to implement a visa-free travel policy for Swedish nationals to further promote people-to-people and cultural exchanges. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi made the remarks this week during a meeting with Sweden's Minister for Foreign Affairs. He added that China also hopes that Sweden will play a constructive role in promoting the healthy development of China-EU relations. Wang noted that Sweden is an important country in the European Union (EU) and was the first Western country to establish diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. Wang expressed China's hope that Sweden will view and develop China-Sweden relations through independent strategic thinking and a long-term perspective.
Bersihkan penapis penghawa dingin dan tetapkan 24 darjah Celsius untuk lebih jimat.
The 64 South Koreans who had been detained in Cambodia for alleged involvement in cyber scam operations returned home Saturday and were under arrest. Now, South Korea had sent a team to Cambodia to discuss cases of fake jobs and scam centers involved in kidnapping dozens of its nationals. Seoul had said around 60 South Koreans had been detained by authorities in Cambodia over the alleged crimes and vowed to bring them home. The individuals were arrested on board the chartered flight shortly after boarding. Under South Korean law, a national carrier's aircraft is considered Korean territory, allowing law enforcement to execute arrest warrants. An official said all 64 have been taken into custody as criminal suspects upon arrival at the Incheon airport and will be transferred to the police stations with jurisdiction over their respective cases. Two people died and dozens were injured in a stampede at the state funeral of Kenya's revered opposition leader, Raila Odinga, as crowds rushed to see his coffin. It came a day after at least 3 people were killed when security forces opened fire to disperse the crowd that had gathered to see Odinga's body in a separate ceremony. Now, people trampled underfoot, leaving some with broken bones or difficulty breathing. Medical charity Doctors Without Borders, MSF, said emergency responders attended to 163 patients and referred 34 others for further care. Odinga served as Prime Minister from 2008 to 2013, but never succeeded in winning the presidency despite 5 attempts. But he outlasted many rivals and is credited as a major player in returning Kenya to multi-party democracy in the 1990s and overseeing the widely praised Constitution of 2010. A pall of gloom has descended on the Thakpuri family in central India following the death of their 2-year-old daughter after she consumed a toxic cough syrup linked to deaths of at least 24 children in the past month. The toddler succumbed to multiple organ failure after battling for her life for nearly 3 weeks.
As you all know that there was a case of spurious cough syrup. So in that we had lodged an FIR against the manufacturers, and the owner of the company has been arrested, and he will be produced in the magisterial court, and after that whatever is the direction of the court we will do accordingly. And the doctor who was prescribing the medicines, he has also been arrested, and the police is investigating that.
The new wave of deaths has reignited concerns over lax regulation in India's $50 billion pharmaceutical industry. Government tests found the syrup contained 48.6% DEG, a known toxin, nearly 500 times the permissible limit of 0.1% set by India and the WHO. Authorities have signed or since found at least 2 more syrups with the same toxins and stopped their sale. Residents of eastern Mexico queued for humanitarian aid on Friday as devastating floods left thousands without homes, flood or basic services following torrential rains that have killed at least 72 people across the region. In Alamo, one of the states hit by the floods, residents could be seen carrying bags and mattresses past piles of debris as official trucks worked to drain floodwaters from the streets. Works to restore electrical services continued as survivors waded through flooded areas. The dust disaster began last week when heavy rains triggered flooding and landslides across 5 states in central Mexico. Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum said that 48 people remain missing, while the flooding has affected 100,000 homes. Rivers overflowed, washing away entire streets and leaving communities isolated. Coming up in sports, FAM suspends Secretary General, forms independent committee to probe heritage players. Stay with us. The Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, has suspended its Secretary General, Dato' Nur Azman Rahman, with immediate effect regarding the disciplinary decision related to the documentation issue involving the eligibility of 7 national heritage players. FAM Deputy President Dato' S. Sivasundaram said they have also established an independent body to investigate the issue that has recently rocked Malaysian football. Now, he said the decision to suspend Dato' Nur Azman was made to ensure transparency and allow the independent body to conduct a thorough probe without interference.
FAM will appoint an independent administrative and governance committee to avoid any further similar issues and align with the highest standards of international football. The General Secretary of FAM will be suspended from duty effective today, pending further investigations in order to allow an independent committee to carry out the exercise.
Meanwhile, Dato' Sivasundaram said the new independent committee, which will not compromise or comprise any FAM officials, will be tasked to identify what went wrong in the documentation and submission process that led to FIFA sanction against the 7 heritage players and the national body. He said they are still awaiting the next stage of the appeal process, which was submitted to the International Federation of Association Football, FIFA, on October 14th. Last month, FAM and 7 neutralized players were penalized by FIFA's disciplinary committee after being found guilty of violating Article 22 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code, FDC, related to document falsification. In a previous statement, FAM explained that it had identified a technical error in the submission process involving the 7 players' documents, which was made by an administrative staff member. The national men's football squad has successfully broken into the world's top 120 teams after moving up to a 118th position in the latest International Football Federation FIFA rankings. Now, based on the latest update, Harimau Malaya successfully accumulated 1,161.53 points, climbing 5 spots from the 123rd position last month. Now, this achievement was driven by the squad, coached by Peter Klamovsky, recording 2 stylish victories over Laos in the recent 2027 Asian Cup qualifiers, where they currently top Group F. Now, they defeated Laos 3-0 away and 5-1 at home in recent qualifying matches. Now, these back-to-back wins have not only boosted Malaysia's hopes of qualifying for the Asian Cup, but also contributed to their upward movement in the world rankings. Now, among Southeast Asian countries, Malaysia is now the 3rd best ranked, behind Thailand and Vietnam, and has also surpassed Indonesia. Meanwhile, Euro 2024 champions Spain remain at the top of the world rankings, followed by Argentina in 2nd place and France in 3rd. The next FIFA ranking update is scheduled for 21st November. Cristiano Ronaldo leads the list of the world's top-earning football players, while teenager Lamine Yamal has shot into the top 10 of the 2025 edition published by Forbes magazine. Portugal's Ronaldo, who has renewed his contract at Saudi Pro League club Al Nassr by 2 years, has ranked in $280 million from his salary and multiple lucrative endorsements. Now, that is more than double the $130 million of second-place Lionel Messi of Argentina and Inter Miami. Former France international Karim Benzema, who plays at Saudi side Al Ittihad, is the only other players with earnings of more than $100 million, listed at $104 million. Ronaldo was last week named the first football billionaire in the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, which estimated his worth at $1.4 billion. Spain forward Yamal, who has renewed at Barcelona until 2031, is listed 10th with 43 million euros at age 18. No longer in the top 10 is Neymar, who was 3rd last year with $110 million, but is now listed at $38 million after returning to his native Brazil at boyhood club Santos from Saudi side Al Hilal. Malaysia's Young Tigers ended their Hockey League round with 4 points after losing 2-1 to India at the 2024 Sultan of Johor Cup SOJC International Hockey Tournament at the Taman Daya Hockey Stadium yesterday. Now, with this result, the national youth squad, coached by Nur Saiful Zaini Nasiruddin, will face New Zealand for the 5th and 6th place qualification playoff today. India, meanwhile, will face Australia in the final. After India took the lead in the 2nd quarter, the Young Tigers finally broke the deadlock in the 3rd quarter when P. Navinesh scored from a penalty corner at the 43rd minute. But their joy was short-lived as the final period saw India add to the youth squad's misery with a penalty corner goal in the 48th minute by K. Sobhan Anand. Meanwhile, Nur Saiful Zaini, when met after the match, said that he was satisfied with the young players' performance despite the narrow loss to India.
Kita tak curi sepenuhnya peluang untuk jaringkan gol, and then kita bagi dia isi gol. Saya rasa gol yang nombor 2 tu sangat easy. Because dia bukan ada peluang pun, cuma ada kontak badan dan dapat PC dan dia score through PC. Dia pun PC yang bagus. So overall saya rasa saya komen okey lah. Cuma kita tak dapat podium finish. 1 gol lagi mungkin kita ada peluang sebenarnya.
He added that his players are good tactical discipline and managed to put up a strong challenge against India, which fielded experienced players, including those who have played in major leagues and international tournaments. Italian second seed Jasmine Paolini kept her hopes of qualifying for the WTA finals alive with a gritty comeback win over Belinda Bencic, beating Switzerland's Tokyo Olympic gold medalist 5-7, 7-5, 6-3 in the Ningbo Open quarterfinals on Friday. Paolini will face third seed Elena Rybakina in the semis after the Russian-born Kazakh took less than an hour to beat Ayala Tomjanovic 6-2, 6-love later in the day. Twice Grand Slam finalist Paolini needs a win over Rybakina in the last four to qualify for next month's WTA finals in Riyadh. The contest against Bencic at the WTA 500 hardcourt tournament, which lasted a marathon 3 hours and 22 minutes, marks the longest match of Paolini's season. Arina Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff, Amanda Anisimova, Jessica Pegula and Madison Keys have also all qualified for the season-ending championship of the WTA World Tour in Riyadh, with the two spots split up for grabs. Rybakina also remained in contention for a place at the WTA finals as she landed 7 aces, while a struggling Tomjanovic made 9 double faults. Former Wimbledon champion Rybakina has now won 50 matches on the tour this year and qualified for 7 semifinals. Paolini, Rybakina and Mira Andreeva are locked in a three-way battle for the 2 remaining spots in the lineup of the WTA finals, where the top 8 players in the 2025 race will compete for the prestigious Billie Jean King Trophy. Daniil Medvedev is refusing to fade from the NATO ATP Finals conversation, extending his late-season surge with another strong run at the Almaty Open this week. The former #1 player in the ATP rankings averted some early danger on Friday to overcome Fabian Maros' son 7-5, 6-2 and advance to his third consecutive ATP Tour semi-final. Medvedev has forced to save 3 set points on serve at 4-5 in the first set, but quickly found his range, hitting 27 winners to just 12 unforced errors in a classy display. Medvedev, the 2020 champion at the season finale, is up 2 spots to 13th in the ATP Live race to Turin. Having begun October into 20th, he was strengthened his hopes of securing a 7th straight showing at the NATO ATP Finals. After semi-finals runs in Beijing and Shanghai, Medvedev awaits a last 4 meeting with quarterfinal James Duckworth in Almaty after the Australian earlier upset third seed Flavio Cobolli.
Piala FA Malaysia 2025. Saingan suku akhir terus membara. Dari bumi kenyala, The Cats terus garang. Kali ini bakal berdepan skuad Sang Penyu yang terus kebal mempertahankan gawang. Selasa 28 Oktober, nantikan aksi penyudah Kuching City FC bertemu Terengganu FC 7 malam di saluran OK dan Sukan RTM.
Still to come on our offbeat segment, Tokyo Delic delivers Tokyo pop culture flair to its NYC cafe. Japanese artist Sebastian Masuda, known as the King of Kawaii, is reintroducing his kaleidoscopic world of color to New York with the opening of Tokyo Delic, a rebranded cafe and bar that fuses Tokyo's street culture with contemporary art and cuisine. The venue was previously known as Sushi Delic, a sushi restaurant that drew long waiting lists after its 2023 debut for its playful, anime-inspired interiors and pink conveyor belt. The venue has been redesigned to invoke Japan's cafe culture with colorful interiors, the same pink conveyor belt and new conveyor belt art, and a menu of nostalgic Japanese comfort dishes such as onigiri sandwiches, fried chicken, and omu rice, a Japanese-style omelette over fried rice. Masuda said he wants visitors to experience Tokyo's energy and creativity without traveling. The cafe opens to the public today. another form of Japanese artwork by Keita Miyazaki called The Eternal Duality is being displayed in the Nymphaeum of the National Etruscan Museum in Villa Giulia in Rome from 10th October to 2nd November. The site-specific exhibit features 9 freestanding sculptures made from discarded car engines, exhaust pipes, metal fragments, origami elements, and soon felt. Installed inside the Nymphaeum, considered Rome's first water theatre, the works place industrial material in dialogue with craft techniques traditionally associated with fragility.
The show in the Museo Nazionale Etrusco di Villa Giulia came from 2 main reasons. The first one is probably the relationship with the water, because the Ninfeo Romano in the museum has main component the water, obviously, and represents life, while Keita's work are all about the destruction that brings water, and creating these two, having these two themes together, that then creates the rebirth. So the idea was to have the water as rebirth.
Miyazaki's practice explores themes of transformation and resilience developed in the years following the 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Japan. The exhibition brings contemporary sculpture into a historic setting, marking a new stage in the restoration of Villa Giulia's Nymphaeum, where water has been reintroduced to the space for the first time in decades. Well, that's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, Thai-Cambodian foreign ministers hold talks over border tensions. Malaysia Tonight comes on at 8:30 this evening on TV1 and MyTV's Berita RTM News channel. Until then, Malaysia Madani, Rakyat, Disantuni. Thanks for watching.